Does anyone have a good note-taking system? I suck at taking notes at work. I do take them, but they are often poorly organized, incomplete, and not easy to return to. I want to have a note-taking system or app that accomplishes the following. Modular addition of new notes. My notes are bad because I'm combine multiple ideas at once for speed in a meeting. If the ideas were decoupled, it may make it easier to reference them later. Easy organization. I usually have to reflect on the ideas written to organize them and usually won't do this in the heat of a meeting. I'd really benefit from a system that makes organizing easy, or even an app that clusters similar ideas. Easy to go back and reference material. This is the biggest one. Having useful notes to refer back to is critical, but I hate having to try and remember where I wrote down some process or detail my manager mentioned. It would be immensely helpful to have some way to index my notes in a way that's useful for quick retrieval. TLDR, my current note-taking system is bad, so I rely on my own memory, which is faster but way less reliable. I need a new system or app that makes note-taking as fast as using my brain writing. Organizing. Recall but more reliable. Thanks. I use Microsoft OneNote. Can put stuff in tabs with many sub-items, automatically saves. Can paste images. Syncs with OneNote app. One for Emacs org mode. But whatever system you use, I think it's important to make sure it's all text-based. I have a bunch of stuff from the 90s sitting in HyperCard. What are you taking notes for? Context on architecture key systems. There should hopefully be an online document somewhere that you can refer to and update if there's anything new. Confluence. Writing notes about what you did so you have notes for your 6-month review. Use Notepad, OneNote, whatever, and mark the date. Simple notes on meetings. Thing you need to be able to draw quickly on. Take some sloppy but quick diagrams, labels, etc. Pen and paper. Copy it down later to something else to help drill it in your brain. Trying Obsidian these days cause of Mermaid.js natively brings supported, but use paper most of the time. I use org mode in Emacs, works great. I use Logsec. Microsoft OneNote. Notion or Obsidian. I use GoodNotes. It's Apple only but works beautifully with my iPad. I have ads, so taking notes during meetings is the only way I will pay attention. Pen and paper. Then transfer to whatever is necessary, be that OneNote or Confluence. I use Evernote. Organize by notebooks and each notebook organize by chapters. Within the notes add headers. Make bullet points and sub-bullets. Numbered lists. One for Emacs org mode. I use it on Doom Emacs for work and personal note-taking. Apple Notes. It's sleek. Has exactly the amount of features I want. And syncs. All I ever need from it is clean text, bullets, tables, and a folder structure. Anything more is just overcomplicating it. IMO. mkdir notes cd notes git init vim git commit am add squirrel notes. I have a folder called Notes that I open in VS Code. Organized by project meeting in text files. It helps me feel useful to take notes that I'll never look at again. Anything I actually need to reference later I put in Confluence. I still use pen and paper. I use a living Google Doc for long-term notes and an unsaved VS Code text file which will always be pinned for my in-the-moment notes. I use a notepad to remind me on what to do. You asked for a system. I write notes in pen and paper. Or notes if I only have my phone. Long-term notes go into Obsidian. These notes are more developed than my shorthand scribbles. Actions and to-dos get separated as soon as possible into actionable systems. A note-taking system is not actionable like a bug tracker or actions list sent in email after a meeting. This is the thing that makes things happen. 50 Sublime text tabs, and if it is really important I save it. Every time my computer reboots I think, I am starting fresh. So far been pretty good. General comment about all the things mentioned in this thread. If you use an app that has any kind of cloud or online storage, be aware of what the security policies are where you work. Many places will not let you store work-related data in cloud storage that hasn't been specifically vetted and approved. For me, I prefer OneNote. But if my company doesn't have it, I love Note++. I use OneNote. I started with daily notes for a week and then started classifying them into different areas. After I got it started after that week, I make my daily notes and then at the end of the day, file those notes away in their proper tab category. Everything is searchable. Everything is indexed. It works perfect. OneNote, I used to think it was useless until I actually started using it. It's pretty good. Obsidian. I just write down stuff on a normal notepad and add a date. This idea of notes and being so pedantic about is a bit of meme in my opinion. Yeah, this system show up on time data blank piece of paper write notes. Jupyter notebooks with VS Code. You can format using Markdown. Have multiple cells. Upload it to GitHub and take it with you to various jobs. I love it. No Notion in this thread. People at work all use OneNote and it's been working fine for them. They all love it. And I'm just about to start using it too. For personal stuff. I've been using Obsidian and customizing it a lot. You can also add icons onto the files with one of the icon plugins. Ms Word and saving in Google Drive. I'm using Markdown format in VS Code, and Save to Dir connected to OneDrive. I use Notion. But honestly, the old school pen and paper works the best for me. I've tried Logsec and Dendron and I'm looking to formalize in Aztekison. Obsidian, since it is natively Markdown and OneNote doesn't have anything like the canvas which I use a lot for quickly mapping out things visually. Then bring it to Visio for release or build out a mermaid diagram. Notion is new and super good for taking notes. I write to a printed Rocketbook sheet print off at work email sheet to Zapier with OCR transcription. And then Zapier sends to Notion. Alternatively, it's Rocketbook to work email and then to OneNote when it's directly work related. VS Code Markdown encrypted. Sparser image syncs with Nextcloud. I use VS Code. I organize my notes by repo and Jira ticket. It works really well because I can do a git blame on code that I've worked on and reference the ticket in my notes. I use Google Keep. It's a simple app for taking notes. They have mobile apps and a web app and everything automatically syncs. There are probably better apps out there, but I've been using it for many years and I'm happy with it. I use Snippets Lab on macOS. I set the library location to my eCloud storage so I can use it on multiple devices with synced storage. I use Xmind to take note and organize them around ideas. I have multiple documents for each subject.